Mean Gene.
Oh, damn.
That's a damn shame, man. He was the announcer when I was a kid.
Yes.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
He wasn't the announcer for all of my childhood, but for my early childhood he was. And you know what? He always just had this sort of natural likability, and he was like a small guy, but he had a big personality. So he was like perfect to put with these fucking wrestlers.
He was a great foil for them because they would abuse him.
Yeah, and he made him look big, and he made him look tough, and he made him look superhuman, but he was also a character in and of himself to the point where I think he's outshone a lot of the people that he probably interviewed.
Oh, yeah. He's more memorable to a lot of people than a lot of the wrestlers that he interviewed throughout the years and a lot of the matches that he covered.
A great broadcasting voice.
He was a humble dude, too. Like, think about that being your position in life. Like, I'm the little dude that all the big muscle guys talk down to, and being comfortable with that and realizing his role and being able to go forth and proudly do that job.
Yeah, and
elevating them at the same time.
And always doing it with, like, gravitas and, like, good broadcasting sensibilities. Like, he was something that, to me, was part of what gave, wrestling its kind of legitimacy, to whatever extent it ever achieved that. It was almost like he was grounding it.
Well, that's why
into
wrestling
reality a little bit, because he was just kind of like, he just looked like a normal dude that's like, he could be your neighbor or something, but he had this great charisma and shit, but it wasn't
a great
so
knowledge
bad.
of the sport too,
and it didn't overshadow.
Well, that's
the
what
wrestlers,
wrestling
but it
lacks now.
complemented them perfectly.
Even if you have good wrestlers now, or like, oh, this guy's got a great gimmick or great character, it's like you don't have the support, you don't have good announcers, you don't have these great interviewers where it's like they're getting these performance out of these guys. Like
now they just put some, give some prom queen a microphone. To go
how do you think you're going to beat this guy at this match?
I mean, to understand what Mean Gene did, you have to look at how he combined basically two separate mediums. He was a sports announcer and a sports commentator, which in and of itself, to be a good one, is a tough thing to do. You've got to have a deep knowledge of the sport that you're talking about.
Encyclopedic
a quick encyclopedic knowledge of not only the current state of the sport,
how to
but
break
the
it
past
down
state
for
of the
people.
sport, how it's changed. He had all that. So he was all of that in spades, right? Super professional sports broadcaster. But that layer of kayfabe on top made him an actor too.
Right.
So he's a performer on top of his performance. So he's a guy playing a sports announcer who is capable of being that, who's also playing the small Weasley guy that tries to keep a stiff upper lip while these big muscle guys push him around and berate him. And that's amazing to me. Like seeing those two things come together. If you were one of those things, you could have a great career. He was both.
And it's just one of those unfortunate things where I think you don't even, because he does it so seamlessly and so perfectly, you don't even really realize like what value he brought to things until this happens and you kind of look back. It's like, fuck.
Oh, dude, like whenever they stopped using him and he stopped being so prominent in wrestling, like I noticed, I was like, where's that one dude? Where's Mean Gene? Oh, damn, Paul.
What the fuck? Oh, it's Paul's phone.
Oh, look, TJ.
Yeah.
Ain't mine.
I saw it.
Ain't mine.
I saw it, dude.
But you know what I mean? Like you noticed, like when when he became less prominent in wrestling, obviously as he aged and got older, it was like you noticed, like man, the people that have like Michael Cole and other people they have interviewing, they're not anywhere near as good.
Yeah, and he was great.
I'd love to be able to play, like, it'd be cool if we could play some of his stuff, but of course.
I mean, WWE is so litigious, I'm kind of scared to do it. But
it doesn't make sense. It just get pulled.
But there's a lot of great videos. You just type in Mean Gene interviews or,
here's
on
Triple
YouTube.
H talk about him, a voice and soundtrack to an entire era of our industry. He was the star of some of WWE's most memorable segments. Mean Gene was beloved by all who worked with him. Our thoughts are with his family during this difficult time. It's a pretty standard thing there. Iron Sheik coming out to fucking say something. I've seen a bunch of other tweets and shit. People leaving their fond remembrances. People who knew him. People who just experienced him like we did through the television sets and stuff like that.
Not our last episode, but an episode we did recently. He was actually featured prominently in some of those interviews with like Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and stuff. So,
and he always made the stars look good. He was always the best supporting player. And I mean, like. His was a truly great singular talent, the likes of which we've not seen since. So you gotta give it up.
Oh, dude,
for
and
Mean Gene.
if you look at the golden era of wrestling, when we were looking at that, like every time these guys were doing interviews and cutting these promos and shit, he was the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he was,
he was part of the format. He was part of like
he was part of the show. He was an expected part of the show. If Mean Gene wasn't announcing, if Mean Gene wasn't running the interview desk, then it wasn't a great interview. You know, he was just such an integral part of that in the early days, and a class act, dude.
Total class act.
Yep, man.
Gonna miss him. Bye, Mean Gene.
For sure. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Fare thee well.